Hi guys, welcome back. So, winter's kind of coming in, and with 2024 hurtling towards an end, we started thinking about what we were going to do for 2025. That got us kind of thinking about, what can we do? What's kind of first on the calendar? And then we looked, and Tim, our good friend, very much friend of the show, Napoleonic Wargaming, along with Dan at Forlorn Hobbies, who's also involved, um, are putting on this. So, just decided, even though that we're still doing stuff with CNC and a bit smaller and everything else, all those kind of things, we did think that we'd have a revisit of Black Powder. Now, I haven't played Black Powder for a long time. A seriously long time. That's if I could ever play it in the first place, to be perfectly honest. But we thought, what a better way to wind away the kind of winter nights painting up an army for this. So I was looking at my pile of opportunity, and I saw a wee opportunity with some Portuguese that I've got sitting. So with that, because it's been ages since I've done Black Powder, and to be honest, I'm still in the process of hunting down all my books for it. I asked Dan, a good friend at Forlorn Hobbies there, to conjure up as a wee list using the stuff I've got and additional things that I might need. So when we look at it here, it's telling you the unit sizes here, so tiny, small, medium, large. I've not really got any large ones, which are the massive 32 man blobs. I don't have any of them. Cav the same, Artie the same. So with that, Dan went off and conjured up for me a little list. So what I'm looking at is a kind of alliance between Portuguese guys and Portuguese Cav, and to add a little bit more kind of Iberian flair, we are going to have some Spanish guerrillas as well, which I also had a few kicking around, so I just needed to add a few more wee elements to them to just add a bit more zhuzh to the things, just for the crack, really. I mean, this army, make no mistake, will be absolutely rubbish probably on paper, and it'll be rubbish when it's getting hammered on the field. However, that's it's irrelevant, totally irrelevant. As Tim says in the pack, it's all about having fun. It is, and he puts this in bold, it is not a tournament in the true sense of a tournament. It's more of a kind of, as he says here, a weekender gathering of like-minded individuals. So, what's he got in his list then? Let's have a look. So, he has one brigade of 2 Portuguese line battalions and 1 Caçador battalion. They'll be 24 men strong then, fellas. Then a 2nd brigade, which is the same, 2 Portuguese line battalions and 1 Caçador. And then he's got a 3rd brigade, which is another 2 Portuguese battalions and 1 loyal Lusitanian battalion, which I believe is just British soldiers, British soldier models painted up in a kind of fetching green colour, which is going to add a little bit more kind of fun to the things. Painting anyways, it'll not be as boring doing all these things. 1 Portuguese battery, which will be 3 guns I think for that. And then a cavalry brigade, which will be 2 12-man units of Portuguese cav. Which they'll be going, I've got some ordered for that, so that's fine. And the Spanish guerrilla elements will be 1 officer and 3 small guerrilla battalions. Now, we do know small, I believe it's 12. Let me flick it up now. I've gone past it. I think it's 12. Yeah, small, so 12 to 16 for them. So 3 small units of them and 1 guerrilla lancer regiment, which I think he hasn't actually got the size on that. So that could be a 12-man Lancer regiment, which will be easy done because they all seem mixed. All the guerrilla stuff is just mixed up. So I've got hand weapons, I've got musket guys, I've got guys with axes, all this stuff. It's all the kind of perishes. So there we go. So let's see what we've already got to hand. We'll put that to one side. So what have we got already? So we're on our way. So we've got 4 boxes of these, which you'll have seen. Just the black powder Warlord Games fellas. That's 24-man units. Come with the command in them as well, which is handy, and the flags. So we'll be using the flags in some way, shape or form for these kind of units for the 6 I've got. So 4 of these we have. Ugh. So 4 of these units, well, those boxes, 4 of them, and this is what kind of kicked off the whole idea, was what I already had bought. So, or what I already had. So I've got 2 front rank Portuguese battalions here, some of the marching guys in the stovepipers, and some of the other guys that are in the Berretina ones, Berretina hats. So those ones there. It's I think there is they had them at different periods of time, but I think there is, looking at the dates, I think there is a crossover period where you could have both, and yeah, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. If we've already got them sitting here, you'd be mad not to just use what we've got, because they're already here. It's got 2 units of them fellas, which were quite cool. The front rankers, as I say, that appeared, I think they came from one of my mates, did a swap for them, and they've just been sitting. So let's get them used. Now, this, interestingly, when I had got them years ago, and they've just been sitting. Now, when I had them, at the time I thought, oh, well, maybe I should add to them and then pick it up later on. Now, we never picked them up until now, but when I was thinking about it, I've actually done a pretty good thing. So one of the old Warlord Games sales that they were selling stuff. I can't remember what I paid, but when I saw them sitting there in the Warlord Games sales, I just grabbed them. So that's 3 Portuguese guns here. Again, they've been sitting for ages, but that's the whole point of this project, is to pick up stuff that's just been lying fallow. So that's 3 Portuguese guns from Warlord, and the same, also in the sale again, at the same time as I bought the guns, I bought the Warlord Games Caçadores. So that's a 24-man blob of them as well. So that's pretty cool. So again, it's using stuff that already exists. Also got the Portuguese officer, Warlord Games as well. Getting officers for this Portuguese army is going to be a little bit tricksy. You have to do a little, because I haven't thought about going back to front rank yet, but I'm going to see what I can make up. So that's going to be a fun little project. So we've got him, and then some of the Perry stuff, the guerrilla elements, some of them I already have, but I've bought more just to add to that. So apologies for the glare on these blisters. So that's the Spanish guerrillas with hand weapons now. That's only 12. I already have 12, I think. So I'll need to probably get more of these at some point soon. But I mean, there's enough to be getting on with. Let's not kid ourselves. And then the guerrilla lancer elements as well. I've just got the guerrilla lancers of Don Sanchez, and one of them packs has Don in it. The Don. So I might just use him as the Spanish commander on a separate base, and then just flesh out the lancer unit with the 6 I've already got, and buy another pack of these fellas to make up the 12, and then make the Don the leader of the Spanish elements in the army. That's the plan for all that. So where to start? We don't really know. Make all these. Now we need to think about, because we want to use some of these for C&C as well, I'm going to leave some of them on a separate, like individually based. But some of them, when there's so many, especially all these guys, they're just going to be done, I think, in the traditional black powder way of the Forte base, etc, etc, etc. So that'll be them. I need to think about how I'm going to do these. I'm thinking about contrast certainly for all the Spanish guerrilla stuff, because that's brilliant. As for the Portuguese line guys, I'm thinking, guys on our group chat found a how to paint, which was blue spray, and then traditional paints over the top, so it might be that in the end. I think I'm going to have to do that because there's going to be so many to do before March. But anyway, that's where we are. We're going to try and get this all done. The Spanish cavalry are ordered. The Portuguese cavalry are ordered from Paris. So that made that order last night. So they'll be here next week. There's a lot of cav too. Mind that's 24 cav plus the Perry cav. It's actually going to be quite a challenge to get this done for me. With I'm busy with other bits and bobs, but it's going to be fun. So. So you can follow along with this journey. Obviously, you can follow along with Dan and his Russians on his channel at Forlorn Hobbies, because yes, obviously there's going to be some smack talk with that guy. And let's see if we can have Portuguese and Spanish guerrilla fighting Russians at some point on the 1st and 2nd of March, 2025. So yeah, anybody else going to this? Anybody else starting something from scratch for it? I mean, it's a great opportunity to just kick on with something else, or using stuff you already have, just adding a few elements to sprinkle into what you already have, just to kind of push it to the next level, to find use out of some of these things that are just lying fallow, that you can get some use out of. You've bought them anyway, so you might as well use them. Okie doke. I think that'll do. Bring it on, Dan. Bring it on. Thanks very much. We'll see you on the next one.